Hello again, this is Robert Veach here, and I'm going to show you how to repair chips in your sink, particularly on the edges of your granite. And this is an inexpensive method, and anybody can do it. The tools I'm going to use is 3 grits of sandpaper, a thick instant glue, isopropyl alcohol to clean it, some utility blades, and some permanent markers, black, and 2 different types of brown, depending on the color you need for your granite. That's the colors that are in my granite. So I'm going to show you now the chip I'm going to repair. So on the edge of my sink, it's hard to pick this up, but there's a very big chip right there that it's been there for a couple of months, and I want to repair it. So I'm going to show you the process. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some isopropyl alcohol, and I have all the links of everything you're going to need. And I'm going to spray that in that crack to clean it. And I'm going to use some 800 grit sandpaper, and you want to just lightly sand into the edge. What that's doing is that's going to clean that edge so that it's ready for the glue we're going to put in there. So 800 is perfect because it's going to essentially get it primed for the glue. Then spray it again with the alcohol. Then take some paper towel and thoroughly wipe that edge. Push hard on there. Make sure you get the inside of that crack. Just like that. Now let that dry out for about 2 minutes. We're going to come back. Now before we put the glue, we're going to take the utility blade and we're just going to run it right across the top of that crack, or of that chip. And what this is going to do is going to make sure that there's no food or dirt. And then you can also go along the edge following the beveled cut that's there. And then you want to go in front of it also, just like that, and against the bevel. Then you want to spray it again with the alcohol and wipe it down again. And wait about 2 minutes for that to dry. Now that that's dried and all cleaned, we're going to take the thick instant glue and we're going to start applying it to that opening. Now you want to do a little bit at a time. I just put a little bit right there. And don't worry if you get too much, because we could use that blade to clear it off. Then you want to let that dry. And we're going to do multiple layers, and in between those layers we're going to be using those permanent markers to add color into it, so that it's not only colored on the top or the outside, but it's also colored all the way through. So let's let that first coat dry. Now if you don't want to take extra time, there is accelerants, and you can spray it on there, and I'll have the link to that also, and that will accelerate the drying time of that. So now that I put the accelerant down there, that first coat is in there, and I'm going to go with the blade again and just make sure that I don't have any excessive amount there, and I don't. Then I'm going to take the permanent marker. I'm just going to start adding a little bit of the color to it. And this really does make it so that you can't notice it then. So in my case, I'm putting 3 different colors: a lighter brown and the black. Just put little dots of it on there, and then we're going to repeat this process. Okay, now that's dry, we're going to go back And another layer of the thick. And I'm going to shoot the accelerator on there. And now I'm going to go over with the blade because I've got a little bit extra and it's starting to stand out above the line of the counter or of the let's go in the front. There's not much there yet. We're going to slowly build up that front edge. Of the granite. So you can see I'm removing little pieces of it. Now we're going to go back with permanent markers. And by doing it layer by layer like this and putting the permanent marker, you're making it so that it's not transparent anymore. So even if the outer color comes off, it'll still look like the granite. Okay, now we're going to put another layer, and I'm going to try and put the bulk of it towards the front edge right there, because I'm pretty much level on the top. And if you get a little extra, just take your paper towel and you could absorb right off that corner right there. And now we're going to take the blade again and we're going to go over it lightly and just make sure that we didn't put too much glue. Now this time there's more in the front. So I'm just going to slice that off carefully. Now let's look at this piece right here, this angle. Still got something to fill in there. And now let's add the colorant again. And now we're going to put probably the final coat of the glue. Put a little on the top and a little more on the front. And let that drip a little bit over the edge. That way I have a little bit of an extra lip that I can take off with that blade. And now we're going to go with the blade again. As flat as possible as you're going across that, and do like a saw motion. You could also move the blade just like that to feel it. And now we're going to go in the front, the edge that's facing the sink, and I had a little extra right there. And you'll know when you get it smooth and it's correct because it will just, the blade will just glide across there. You won't feel any vibration or resistance. Now let's check this front edge here of the bevel. Okay, now there is 4 different grits of sandpaper that I showed earlier. So we used 800 first, then we're going to use 1200, then we're going to use 1500, then 2000. Let's go back to the 800 and lay it flat and lightly sand in a circular motion. I'm not pushing hard at all. And then go in the front, do the same thing for the front edge that's facing the sink. And then I'm going to go to the bevel portion, keeping it flat. Now we're going to go to the 1500 grit. We're going to do the same thing. First flat. And the front edge. And the bevel. Now we're going to go to 2000 and do the same thing. Flat first, circular motion. And you notice I'm not fanning it out too far, it's not necessary. You don't need to go past about an inch. Now the front and the bevel. Now essentially at this point you're polishing it, which is what you want. Now what we're going to do is take the markers again, and in particular there's little edges there. We're going to put it on those edges, and then take your finger like that to work it in. Because at this point you're going to see it more, so you want to blend it in. Now the final thing is, most people don't know this, but a piece of paper is like 3000 grit sandpaper. So take a piece of paper and polish that edge. Now here you can push really hard. You actually see the paper is getting shiny because we're polishing the paper also. Now if you have a counter chemical that you use to polish it, you could do this now, but it's really not necessary. So basically it's finished now. Now it's all smooth, and the camera is probably not picking it up properly, but I can't see that chip anymore, and I can't feel it. So that's a very inexpensive thing you could do. And if it comes out or you have another chip, you can easily do that and save yourself a lot of money. If you call somebody to do this professional, they'd probably charge you $300. So very inexpensive, very easy to do as I showed. So I hope this demonstration motivates you to fix some of your chips on your counter granite. And please remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you're alerted to new video uploads. And if you like this video, please hit the like button also. Thanks for watching.